Hi, it's Ellen Zee, and this is my very first podcast. So just in time to wish everybody just the happiest possible new year ever, 2015 going into it. Let's really hope that it is a good one. So this is very new for me. Not only am I alone, and is it late at night? Is it morning? Is it afternoon? When is this being recorded? I am not going to give it away. And does it really matter? Anyway, I've been up to so many different things over the past couple of years, really. You know, had a few stints here and there and did some radio stuff elsewhere. But there was nothing that really grabbed me, like being more in control of what's happening. And that's kind of why I wanted to go about doing my own thing and really just talking to you and actually really thanking so many of you that have become friends of mine on Facebook. God, I feel like we really know each other. You know, just updating each other and saying happy birthday and wishing everybody a good day and funny little posts. I mean, it's almost like we all have a little billboard and we can just, you know, cheer each other on sometimes. And other times it's a little monotonous and invasive and, you know, you don't really want everybody to know everything that's going on. But I guess you got to take the good with the bad. So here's what I've been up to recently. My son Miles had his wisdom teeth out. I know I posted about it. And I told you that when they put him out, he got really high. Miles is a real sensitive kid. He's got a little bit of the ADHD going on and a few other issues in there. So it doesn't take a whole lot of medication to get him, ready for a wisdom teeth extraction. But while I was talking to his oral surgeon, I just kind of said to him, listen, he's a real lightweight. Like, you really don't have to propanol him up too much. And I could just see the look on his face. He just looked at me like, what do you mean, lightweight drugs? Ooh, that was so taboo. And I realized I didn't mean like he practices regularly or anything, but Miles really is. So they gave him just a touch of the Michael Jackson juice. And man, he was so out and so whacked. And I know there's YouTube videos everywhere, but this was something to behold. And I regret that I did not video the entire episode, because here he comes out in a wheelchair. He's got gauze in his mouth, looking like the Godfather ever so much, and says, "I like hot dogs." I mean, we all we were just cracking up. It's like, in your most subconscious of minds, do you ever look and wonder what a person would think? Beneath all of that, ego, id, superego, what is on your mind? Clearly, for Miles, it's hot dogs. Well, moving right along, other things that have gone on, obviously the holidays, strange holidays with the movie The Interview and that whole hacking thing. Clearly hacking has become now almost the new gaming. It's like all these geeks that can hack, they're going to do it. They're probably hacking me right now. As a matter of fact, I almost can feel the hacking. Go ahead, hack, whatever. I feel it. But, hacking is just one of those things. It's one-upping the next person. So now countries are going to do it. We'll see what happens. But I'm sure that, in a way, it saved the movie, because Seth and James Franco, you guys, I love you on Freaks and Geeks, but your movies have been a little weird lately, to say the least. But anyway, I'm glad you made some money back to the studio. I know they put out $44 million, but that's just my take on it. Anyway, I got this brand new studio, and I'd like to thank my son Kyle, who has been a producer for many years. I've worked with him quite a bit as well, but I mean, it was his idea. He came up with it. He knew that I was missing the mic and just missing the ability to broadcast. So for me, podcasting is perfectly wonderful. If you're listening, if you're digging it, and if you want to contact me, LNZradio, AOL.com. I know it's a super old email address like nobody on the planet but me uses AOL. Let me tell you why I kept it. I've been in radio since 1992, and through those 90s years, during the golden Seattle grunge years, I met so many people and so many record labels and indie labels that are all pretty much, have unraveled into different things, but I stayed in contact with all the people, and they know LNZ Radio. So that's been very helpful for me to just stay in touch with people. So if you'd like to reach me and you have a question, or you'd like to be in any way, mentioned in my next podcast, I would love for you to. So this studio put together by Kyle, and wonderful, wonderful present for me. He knows how much I have missed being able to just hang out and talk to my friends and my peeps. And now I can do that. So thank you for that. Now, usually our Christmases are very strange. Like the last couple of years, we've actually gone to Florida, warm, hot, fun, joy, summery, just kind of ringing out the old ghosts of Christmas pasts and trying to make it more beachy, friendly, fun. And it's been really great. It's been really interesting. Last year, not so much. I mean, really not so much. It was actually a kind of a drag. And I don't want to get into or mention anybody's names, but somebody purposely went out of their way to kind of just make it not fun for us. So we certainly didn't go this year. And of course, times being what they are, it's always nice to keep a roof over your head as opposed to flying in a plane. So we keep it kind of low key. We kind of all have a deal. Let's try to do whatever we can do throughout the year to make each other's lives a little bit better, a little bit happier, a little bit nicer, and not just bring it on one day. Because what happens is, on the day of Christmas, in between the eve of Christmas and about 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, the anticipation, the excitement, the wonderment, you can drive yourself insane. And then you wake up and it's empty. Everything is just papers and boxes and confusion and cleaning up and madness. And it's too much for me. But, hey, Stewie. Stewie says hi. He misses you. Anyway, so for me personally, that's not the way I like to go. Fortunately, I've had really good luck because everybody's now doing their own thing. So it's pretty much me and Miles kind of doing the hanging out together. And since I'm divorced, so he gets to spend plenty of time with his dad, certainly once or twice a year. And this year it happened to be Christmas, so it kind of worked out really, really well. And, when he came home, he mentioned that, the old man, had the flu really bad, which I just think, I'm not judging, but I just think if you have the flu and you're making seafood and everyone's going to eat, I really think you might want to think about that you might be spreading that disease, illness, influenza, onto other people, like your ex-wife. I'm just saying. But hopefully I won't get it. But I do think that the flu rate now currently, I've been reading people's posts on Facebook. It sounds like they're freaking dying. Anyway, those Mucinex spots, I think, are disgusting. Really. Aren't they just the grossest? It's like, I don't even know, like a ghost, like a blob, the blob of snot. It's really disgusting. I hate it.
What do you think about ISIS?
Oh, ices. I'm so glad you asked. I love Italian ices. It's like one of my favorite. Like, I always love cherry ices. They are so...
ISIS from the Muslim world.
Oh, the Islamic soldiers?
Yeah.
Oh.
ISIS.
Why don't you pull up a microphone if you want to join me for my first podcast of all time? I'm 10 minutes into it, and you got to break it all up with... I thought you were talking about Italian ices. Okay, no. Here's my feeling about ISIS. Boo, boo, boo. I don't think it's a good idea. I think you guys are really nasty. And honestly, I really feel like it's almost like the medieval barbaric people that just really want to die. So I think if there's anything we can do to help them, we should encourage that to happen for them because they're really awful. They're really, really, really awful. Any further questions? Oh, let me tell you a little bit about my Keeler test drives. This is so funny. We were doing these Keeler test drives, and we're going to continue doing GoPro test drives. I'm sure you've seen them. I've posted them on Facebook. But the last one that we had Randy from the river. And Randy's a hardworking guy. He really is. I know he's got a very full life. And for me, I actually really look forward to these because it's not only just a working day, but it's also, you know, I get to learn a little bit about a vehicle and I don't know a lot about cars. And I actually get to learn, like, I know what miles per gallon are and I know what a Honda Bit is, and I know what the Econ button is, and I'm learning, and I'm really proud of myself. So Randy shows up. He's wicked late. I mean, nobody says anything, you know, because we're not rats. But, you know, he's not up to speed, and he does show up. We get into the car, and I'm like, don't you worry, Randy, I got this. So we're sitting down together, we're hanging out, and Randy's just like, he's like, yeah, you know, this is really a great car. It's actually, you know what? You can win this car. Go to KeelerHonda.com. You can win this car right now. It's a Keeler Bit. If you can win it, or you can just take 15 grand. No questions asked. Not a single question. But anyway, so Randy's driving it and we're like, oh my God, this is like 40 something miles per gallon highway. Can you imagine? And now with gas prices, it's almost like free. It like buys itself. But I'm not trying to sell you the car. I'm just telling you. So anyway, so we're driving this thing and we're going up this really steep hill. It's like River Street going back to Keeler Motor in Latham. And he nails it. Man, that car picked up so much. He perked up like he had just woken up with his first cup of serious espresso. I am not kidding you. It was very good to see him. And it's always good to test drive. But I'm serious.
Maria Dunning is beautiful.
Yes, Maria Dunning is beautiful. She's very
a beautiful
beautiful.
woman.
She's a great woman. Good friend of mine. Thank God
Smart
for good
business
friends.
lady.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to have a rule for podcasting. If you want to talk, you have to have a microphone. Also, I'd love it if you would email me, again, LNZradio, AOL.com. Kept the AOL because I know a lot of people in the music business, they've all fallen out and they always remember LNZ Radio. And we've stayed in touch. I even still get prep sheets. So if you want to contact me, let me know who you would like to hear me interview, who you would like to have me get on the phone because, see, I'm lucky. I have a producer in the family, and I'll be able to get some recorded interviews going on my podcasts. I don't know if other people can do that, but I certainly can. Anyway,
we have a question on the line.
Oh, we do?
What do you think is the state of terrestrial radio? Where do you see it going in 5 years?
Terrestrial radio. Well, you know, I love radio. I heart radio. Radio is always been my number one love ever since I was a little kid. I just love it, turning it on anywhere. But as you know, things have changed. And now people are listening from their devices in very, very different ways. I think if radio falls back in love with itself, it will be absolutely fine. Because if there's one thing we all know, everybody loves somebody who loves what they love. I'm Ellen Z. Have a lovely day. This is my first podcast. If you listen to the whole thing, I love you. Please hit me up on Facebook. Bye.